Gundam.tk presents God Gundam. Hey everybody, Robert 184, 2 R's, 2 B's from Gundam.tk, and the high-grade Future Century G God Gundam is all put together. Now it's time to take a look at the parts. Don't forget to check out the earlier stuff for the deboxing and plates, etc. When everything is all put together, the first thing you're going to notice is just how many parts you're going to get. So starting at the bottom, you're going to get separate feet, ankles, legs, a waist section, the chest section. The arms have the shoulders already built into them. You're going to get the core lander, which is rather large, 2 beam sabers of differing lengths, a whole bunch of extra fists, something to attach the legs on, and of course, the head. And while I'm comparing the parts, I'll be taking a look at the Master Grade God Gundam as well, and you can check out its full review, like with many others, at Gundam.tk. First of all, the feet have absolutely no articulation whatsoever, but that doesn't mean they're poorly put together. First thing you'll notice is that they have a solid piece of plastic on the bottom, just like any other piece of plastic. These are black stickers that you put on both sides. You can line that if you want, and good deep channels. And you'll notice the ball joint that we're going to put the ankle guard into. Sometimes double ankle joints can be a bit of a problem, as Master Grade Exia shows, but in this case, I'm thinking it's going to be pretty good once you put it together. You'll notice that goes into the foot there. We have small black stickers here on either sides. Again, just put in a little bit of lining if you want. This is a large black sticker, but instead of a ball joint up here, it's going to just rotate. So here's the Master Grade, and I have to give the win to the high grade in most areas, except here we have soft rubber, which is great for grips, and you'll notice that the foot can bend a fair bit. It does have poor channels here for lining, and I don't know if they didn't give me stickers, or if I just didn't use them or what. But anyway, there's some lining in there, but it doesn't go in there all that well. Great part there, and a big black sticker there, but you'll notice that this ankle guard is built into it here, and it just rotates there, and we're only going to have a single point of movement on the ankle. The legs are deceptively simple in their engineering, but overall it comes together for a pretty good effect. So first of all, you're going to notice that there's a lot of separate parts. You have a big shin part here, but these are not good at lining, or not good for lining. You just put them on, so you have a natural line built in. And same thing here, the knee is already built into the shin, and then you just slap on these sort of shapes here. These are black stickers there. This is a yellow sticker, and I pushed it down with a Q-tip, which maybe is something I shouldn't have done. I don't think it looks as good. But in terms of mobility, you're able to bend it up here and back, so pretty good already, but you'll notice up at the top that we also have a pivot point, and this is very smooth. And when you just have to beat Allenby in a race, it's time to break out some boosters. So the very back of the legs have a very cool gimmick. They slide out very smoothly, and then they pivot up, which reveals thrusters on the inside. And that's something I'm probably never actually going to do on my shelf. In contrast, on the Master Grade, these are separate parts here, but you'll notice the way that they chose to put the parts on here leaves a lot more panel lines, which can be, in this case, a bad thing, I think. Again, no stickers here, so either that's my fault or they just didn't give it to us. There's the triangle sticker, which looks better on the Master Grade. And in the back, this opens up as more of a swing mechanism as opposed to a slide, and we've got thrusters in there with vents on them as opposed to the plain ones in the high grade. But where this one loses out is up at the top. There's no pivot mechanism, so you have a lot less hip mobility on the Master Grade. The waist section is a very nicely put together piece of engineering here. So first of all, they give you good channels where you want to put wherever you want to put in your black lining. And on these side skirts where you're able to mount the beam sabers, they're actually on 2 pins that you drop in and pinch, and then you're able to rotate these forward or back, which I thought was a nice touch. This is just lined here, and then they do give you a black sticker, and this is a separate red part. They didn't cheap out and make you use a sticker or anything like that. I would say that this is where the Master Grade and High Grade have their most similarities, just white parts on top of the blue, a sticker there, a red part you can put on the King of Hearts thing there, and same idea here on the side. You can swing this around, but otherwise not too many dissimilarities. After being impressed with the lower half, it's the chest that's a little bit disappointing in the gimmicks built into it, but otherwise, just in terms of colors and the way it looks, I think they did a great job. So first of all, red parts, we've got blue here, yellow parts there, you're going to have to put in your own lining, and then white caps here. So the shoulders are just on a poly cap there that's going to pop out, so you're able to bring them forward, which is good. But the first problem is that you'll notice there's a little yellow sticker here with a dot on it. If you open these up, you're going to notice that you should have 3 cannons revealed there, and of course now you're going to have 2 in blue and 1 with a cheap looking sticker on it. But again, because I'm going to have this on display closed 99% of the time, I'm going to put on the sticker, but that's something that if you're good at painting, you're going to be able to fix. In the back we have the docking mechanism where Domon is going to stand and do his thing inside the Gundam, and on the front you'll notice that this front part here has some movement. It can pivot up and down here, but the other disappointing part besides the cannons here is that when you open this up to reveal this part inside, it's disappointingly blue with a very obvious red looking sticker, and I think they give you two stickers so you can choose to put a green or a red one on there, but this could have been a yellow part. Bandai cheaped out a fair bit there, and because of that I think this is going to be hidden most of the time it's on display. So the Master Grade really does win out in this contest because you can see here that if you, first of all, these machine cannons here are on a mount mechanism or a pivot thing, so when you open that up you're actually going to have yellow molded parts inside which look so much better. Now the vents are very similar, you're going to have to do your own lining, but again, this part also pivots here, allowing the core lander to go in and this to be open or closed freely. And when you open that up, if you look inside, you're going to get that yellow part. It would have just taken one Bandai on the high grade, and a very cool looking jewel which looks a lot better than a red circle seal. Moving on from the disappointing chest though, the arms are pretty cool, and you'll notice that the shoulders are on a mount mechanism here that just attaches onto the top, but there's a spin mechanism that despite having side armor here, you're able to rotate the arm all the way around, which is great. In terms of mobility though, you're only going to get a 90-degree bend, not that much more. You also have this white part here, which is very obvious. You can put in a little bit of lining there. These are black stickers that you put on the front and back. They do meet in the center, so you're going to have to get them just right if you want them lined up, or just put some lining in there to clean it up. But I would have preferred, Bandai, if you just included one that's a little bit longer than the other, just so you can overlap them. And down here on the forearm, what I thought was sort of cool, the Master Grade is a little different, but you pull off this claw type thing here, and you'll notice that there's a pivot point, so you can, or sorry, not a pivot point, that's on the Master Grade, but two pegs, so you either put it on here for regular mode, or down here when it gets ready to go, and once you do that, you can open up this yellow part, and that combined with the God Fingers adds to a pretty cool effect. The MG arms are a lot better when you actually stop and look at them, so we'll talk about mobility afterwards, but same idea, seals here, put in a little bit of lining. They have gray parts here, that's just a solid red part that I did some lining with on here. Same idea though, that it can pivot around and the armor does not get in the way, but in terms of mobility, if you take a look down here at the forearm, this is going to bend up, and you're going to be able to get the 180 no problem. And it also has the additional point that you're able to spin these wrists around, and by doing that you can change the position of the claw, and the claw itself, instead of being on a peg and move system, you're actually just going to spin this on its on this pivot point down below to bring that forward. And once you do that, you can open it up. So the Master Grade has better mobility and a thing here, but I don't mind that in the high grade, the peg mechanism, because we're going to get a little bit more stability, which is never something that I complain about in smaller figures. Lots of parts to talk about, and not just that, but when you compare them, sorry it takes twice as much time. So anyway, I'll stop this part here, and this is Robert184 from Gundam.tk. Stay tuned to see the rest of the parts and see this all put together. Looking pretty sharp so far. Thanks for watching, everybody. I noticed you're all shiny, so does that mean you have a hyper mode too?